your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Wednesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us as we embark on a Wednesday night that had the Jaguars back at work earlier today down at the Miller Electric Center to get ready for the Cleveland Browns. Week 2, time to erase what happened in Miami. This is the way I thought about it earlier today. You know, last week, to use a golf analogy, last week, you're on a par 4, your second shot, and man, you knocked it stiff to within about 5 feet. Just knocked it stiff. But unfortunately, you missed the birdie putt, right? But if you tap in for par, you're not exactly happy, but you'd be content with a par on a par 4. At least I would. That's what I think the Jaguars have in front of them. Did they miss the 5-foot birdie putt last week, meaning the win in Miami? Yeah, they missed it. But if you come back at home, beat Cleveland, get to 1-1, it's an awful lot better than 0-2. Cleveland was a playoff team last year. Cleveland, we thought, was going to be pretty good. I'm not sure how good they are now after what happened to them last week against Dallas. We'll get into that in a moment. But the Jaguars just need to get to 1-1. You would feel an awful lot better on Sunday afternoon with a win against Cleveland at 1-1 than certainly you would at 0-2, because remember, at Buffalo, at Houston in weeks 3 and 4. The schedule gets tougher in the next couple of weeks. So this is a very, very important game for Cleveland and for Jacksonville. And for Cleveland's part in this, they not only have off-the-field issues with Deshaun Watson, again, they have injury issues, which we'll get into in a moment. So a lot on the Jaguars and the Browns. I was actually down at the Miller Electric Center earlier today. We're going to have a little Jaguar locker room talk for you here on Hacker After Dark. I had the opportunity to go one-on-one with both linebacker Devin Lloyd and defensive back Jarian Jones. And we will play those conversations for you here in the next 15 minutes or so. So a lot on Cleveland. Also a lot in the world of college football. We are inside of 72 hours till a gigantic game for the Florida Gators and a gigantic game for Billy Napier as Texas A&M rolls in. So we'll certainly preview that. Also a big game in Tallahassee. Look, Florida State, you could legitimately argue that Memphis, even though they're a group of 5, they might be the best team Florida State's played so far this year. And Florida State's lost their first 2 to Boston College and to Georgia Tech. Now look, it is still Memphis. It is still Florida State. I would expect Florida State to win. I also expected them to beat Georgia Tech and Boston College, which didn't happen. But the one thing you got to remember about where we are in this 12-team college football playoff, the highest-ranked group of 5 champion gets in. So if you're Memphis, you're probably looking at this game in Tallahassee as your Super Bowl, man. If you expect to win your conference, which they do, a win in Tallahassee, even over a down Florida State team, would look awfully good on that resume. Awfully good. So if you're a Florida State fan, expect Memphis to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at you in Tallahassee on Saturday. That'll be a good one. We'll talk about both of those games, Florida, Texas A&M, and Memphis, Florida State. We'll also throw in a little Miami and a little Georgia with my buddy Matt Hayes. You hear him every day on XL Primetime. And Matt is always kind enough to give us some time here on Hacker After Dark. I'll talk with Matt coming up at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. So we're absolutely jam-packed. We're glad you're with us on a Wednesday evening here in Jacksonville, Florida. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal? What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
The Jaguars are at home in the friendly confines of Everbank Stadium coming up Sunday at 1 o'clock. Playing a Cleveland Browns team that is going through off-the-field issues again with their $270 million man in Deshaun Watson. Man, you thought the lawsuits were over. Maybe the most egregious lawsuit got filed earlier this week. Now, Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski said that Deshaun Watson's going to play, and Deshaun Watson met the Cleveland media and said all the right things, but in a 14-minute press conference, the first 7 minutes of that were spent not talking about the Jaguars and this big game on Sunday, but about this latest lawsuit that Deshaun Watson has against him, involving yet another young woman. You combine that with the fact that the Cleveland Browns are beat up, man. Again, the names aren't the most important thing, it's the positions. They put 4 defensive guys on injured reserve that all played Sunday against Dallas, all had at least 2 tackles, including Juan Thornhill, their starting safety, who led the Browns in tackles. So to give you some context on this, imagine a world, and it's Cleveland's 3rd linebacker, their 4th linebacker, a backup defensive tackle, and a starting safety. So that would essentially be like the Jaguars losing Chad Muma, Ventrell Miller, Roy Robertson-Harris, and Andre Sisco. That's what the Browns, the equivalent of what the Browns lost on Sunday on the defensive side of the ball. They're bringing guys in from other practice squads and putting them on their 53-man roster. And, oh, by the way, their Pro Bowl tight end, David Njoku, who absolutely destroyed the Jaguars in December last year in that game in Cleveland, is also going to miss this game with an ankle. So you combine the off-the-field issue for Deshaun Watson, you combine the injury issues for the Browns, and you look at the way they played at home last week, just getting absolutely boat raced against Dallas. Man, I don't know if this is a quote-unquote must-win for Jacksonville on week 2, month of September, but it's probably as close as you can get to calling something a must-win. This Cleveland team is hobbling in here, both on the field and off. They are hobbling in here. In talking to the Jaguars today, I talked to Devin Lloyd, I talked to Jarian Jones, I talked to Devon Hamilton, Antonio Johnson, Yasir Abdullah. A lot of the defensive guys. I'll tell you, there's an angry bunch of Jaguars that are looking forward to get back on that field on Sunday. They know they let one get away. That's not lost on them. They know they had the Miami Dolphins beat and let it slip through their fingers, literally, with the ETN fumble and then the 80-yard touchdown to Tyreek Hill. But I get the vibe they are going to be ready for the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. I like Jacksonville to win the game. I told you guys that on, I believe, Monday, but certainly last night. I picked Miami last week, and that's not to pat myself on the back. That's to show you that I'm not sunshine and rainbows. I'm not glass half full, ultra positive guy. Although many of you that have listened to me over the years probably already know that. I'm never going to sugarcoat something, so I picked Miami to beat Jacksonville last week. I was right. But I like the Jaguars this week, and quite frankly, I like them. I won't say easy because it's the NFL, but I'm not sure this is a game with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. This might be a 2-touchdown, a 17-point game. I think Jacksonville wins the game, and I think they win it pretty easily on Sunday. Although I do think there are going to be a lot of Cleveland Brown fans here, and I apologize for that. Look, I'm sure there's some good Cleveland Browns people. In fact, I know there are some good Cleveland Browns people. But my general philosophy when I had season tickets in Section 432, Row W, seats 20 and 21, from the years of 1998 through 2013, is that whenever Philadelphia, Buffalo, or Cleveland came into town, you just expected to put up with nonsense. So if you're in the stands on Sunday, particularly on the east side of the stadium, just expect to put up with nonsense. Some of those Cleveland fans will be good. Some of them will be nice. Some will be respectable. But at least in my experience, sitting in the upper deck on the east side for 15 years, some Cleveland fans maybe not so much. So just enjoy yourself, but don't get too out of hand, particularly if the Jaguars give the Browns somewhat of a beating like I expect them to. And with that as a backdrop, quickly, the Jaguars need to win at home. Last year at Everbank Stadium, the Jaguars were 3-5. 3-5. That's not acceptable. You only have 7 home games in Jacksonville as is. Only 7 of your 17. You need to win at home. You need to reward this fan base that did not get a lot of reward last year. Last year, you lost to Kansas City at home. You got run out of the stadium by San Francisco. You inexcusably lost to a rookie in C.J. Stroud in Houston. You lost on Monday Night Football to Cincinnati. You lost on Sunday Night Football to Baltimore. It was not a lot of fun in Jacksonville for the fans to lose 5 out of 8 games last year. Wasn't a lot of fun for the players either. I'm not saying it was. You need to take care of Duval County. Reward these fans. Win the games at home. Makes it a lot easier for you when you go to London and you go on the road if you take care of business at home. The Jaguars did not do that in 2023. They need to do a much better job of that in 2024. And I believe the home opener, to kick that off, they will do that on Sunday. Because, again, I won't even wait till tomorrow night to give you my prediction. I think Jacksonville wins the game. And, again, I think it's a 2-possession-plus game in the fourth quarter. I don't think this is a nail-biter for the Jaguars. Cleveland's too beat up. Deshaun Watson isn't playing very well, and now he has this lawsuit hanging over his head. This is a game Jacksonville needs to win, and I believe this is a game Jacksonville will win to get to 1-1 on the year. Earlier today, I was down to the Miller Electric Center, a little Jaguar locker room talk with a couple of guys that I thought played very well on Sunday. Defensive back Jarian Jones, linebacker Devin Lloyd. My conversation with those two members of the Jaguar defense comes up next on a Wednesday evening in Northeast Florida. With Dylan Denmark, the hacker Ryan Green with you. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us. 1010XL, 92.5 FM. It's Hacker After Dark.
4 quarters plus 1 equals extra fun. Join Hacker Leon and Coach Campo for the window world of Northeast Florida 5th quarter at Island Girl Cigar Bar on Gate Parkway. 2 hours after the final whistle on game day. Brought to you by Von Rowan Law.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. You guys know that I started on February 20th, 317 pounds. Yeah, I'm not proud to admit that, but that was my reality 6.5 months ago. Now, I'm approaching almost 100 pounds of weight loss. It won't be long. It won't be long. Couple of weeks probably, if that, till I'll be down triple digits. I'll be down 100 pounds. And it's all thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss, the best weight loss program I have ever been on. If you need to lose weight like I did, take it from somebody who has lost almost 100 pounds on this program. Awaken 180 is changing lives. Awaken 180 is saving lives. I'm one of them, and I don't say that lightly. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. Awaken180weightloss.com. They can help you. Trust me. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Attention skilled electricians, are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
It's the best time of the year again. It's football season, and with football season here, fantasy football has arrived. And forget the season-long leagues. Underdog Fantasy and the Underdog Fantasy app is the way to go. I've been playing it now for almost a year, and it is just suits me to a T. First of all, it's simple, right? Just choose higher or lower on statistical projections or compete against others in player v. player fantasy games. Either way, there's so many options. There's research there on the site. It's easy to use, and right now, you can get a little bit extra. That's right. Go to the mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code PROSSER. They're going to give you a special to use on your first contest and a deposit offer. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code PROSSER, and claim your new customer offer. Do it right now, plus a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Got to be 18 or over, got to be present in the state where it's played, and call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org if you have a problem.
Every Monday,
David Garrard
calls the signals and looks for you on Jaguars Today from 10 to noon.
Look past left, prong. Oh, ready.
Brought to you by WaterboyJacks.com
Duval.
on 1010XL.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley, have been helping first-time homebuyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time homebuyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time homebuyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time homebuyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time homebuyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time homebuyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. That's 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at TrustlineMortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREC, Zero Res.
Hello, I'm Malcolm Anthony. I've been practicing criminal defense law for over 40 years. It's what I love to do, it's what I do well. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. 285-4LAW. for Malcolm Anthony.
There's certain places you know if you go in, they got what you're looking for, like Gate Convenience Stores and Cold Modelo's. That's the ticket. Or get on the craft side of things with something from Bold City or Sweetwater. Hit the cooler at Gate, full of choices and all of them good.
Don't bet the National Football League this season without your VSiN NFL betting guide. Betting previews for all 32 teams, betting trends, VSiN's exclusive in-depth win total projections, and a guide on how to use betting splits to bet and win. Download your free copy of the guide right now, featuring a betting preview of your Jacksonville Jaguars. 1010XL.com. That's 1010XL.com.
1010XL is presented by Barra & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you're with us. Earlier today, Miller Electric Center, the Jaguars on the practice field getting ready for the home opener against the Cleveland Browns. I had the opportunity to catch up with a couple Jaguar defensive players, two guys that I thought had very good games on Sunday in the loss at Miami. The first one might have been one of the best defensive players out there. Jaguar linebacker Devin Lloyd. Here's a little Jaguar locker room talk with the third-year linebacker out of Utah. All right, 1010XL in the Jaguar locker room with Jaguar linebacker Devin Lloyd getting ready for the Cleveland Browns. Devin, how we doing?
Doing good. We had a good practice today. It was pretty good. So we're just going to, keep building off today and, get after tomorrow.
We do a segment on our show, players that played the best on Sunday, and we talk about the defensive guys. The fans loved the way the 33 was flying around out there. How would you assess your performance in Miami?
Overall, did a lot of good things. Every game you have a couple plays that you want back. So I'm just going to look to improve on, the things that I didn't do so well and continue to build on the things I did well. Yeah.
Overall the outcome was disappointing, certainly, but for a large majority of that game, y'all held the number one offense in the NFL pedestrian. They were pretty much in check. When you looked at the tape, were you guys happy with a lot of things that you saw?
There was a lot of good all around. Defensively, you want to get a turnover. I think that's the glaring thing that, we didn't put out there on the field. Overall, we played sound, we played discipline, we played physical. I think, our team was really conditioned. So, yeah, there's a lot of good things to take from it, but also at the end of the day, it's a matter of, did you win or lose? And, they have more points than us, so it wasn't good enough.
Last year, only 3 wins at Everbank Stadium. The home opener this Sunday, it's all about protecting home field. Doug Peterson talked about that. How much of a point of contention is that for you guys heading into this season?
It's a win every game. Obviously, you want to win in front of your home crowd and your fans. You want to put on a good show for them. But you expect to win every game. And, being at home or away, it's no different. I think it being the season opener, everyone's going to be excited to play in front of our crowd and put on a good performance.
When you look at Cleveland with the wide receiving core, obviously Nick Chubb's out, but the running game with Jerome Ford, what have you seen from them on film?
Yeah, Jerome Ford, more of a one-cut, downhill type guy, good runner, definitely very capable of hitting the home run and, getting those, those 3-4 yard pops, just your workhorse type back, and then they got the speedster in 20. That 1-2 combo, it's definitely a formidable matchup. We're looking forward to it. Obviously, we played Jerome last year, so we kind of have a little idea of, what type of guy he is. So, they work well together with their line. I think their line's, one of the better ones in the NFL, so looking forward to playing against them.
As we wrap up, can you take anything out of that game in December, or is that pretty meaningless now 9 months later?
The Cleveland game last year, yeah, definitely. A lot of it, for the most part, is, the same guys. I think, obviously, it's a different quarterback. Right. But, the line, the play calling, everything is pretty much, it's really similar. So, we'll look back to, the games last year, and that's one of them that we're watching and, see what we can take away for this week.
You got a message to Jaguar fans coming out on Sunday?
Just pull up. We want to put on a great show for you. So, obviously, we want everyone to show up. We expect it to be a sold-out crowd. And, obviously, I know it's probably going to be a little toastier. But we appreciate everybody coming out, and we're going to put on a good show for them.
Devin, best of luck on Sunday. We'll be watching.
All right, thank you.
There you go. Jaguar linebacker Devin Lloyd down there earlier today at the Miller Electric Center. I thought he was very, very good. Again, brand new scheme. Ryan Nielsen, a lot different than what Mike Caldwell was doing. I think that benefits a guy like Devin Lloyd. It certainly looked like it did last week. Another guy that I thought was very good last week made his NFL debut, and that's third-round rookie Jarian Jones. You want to talk about a guy that looked like he belonged in the NFL, belonged out there covering the likes of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle? I thought Jones, for his debut, was fantastic. It's going to be anteed up a little bit for him now with Tyson Campbell missing some time. But I was down at the Miller Electric Center again in the locker room, a little locker room talk with rookie DB Jarian Jones.
Miller Electric Center. Jaguars getting ready for the Cleveland Browns. We got Jaguar defensive back Jarian Jones here on 1010XL. Jarian, how we doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
We're doing good, man. First game for you in Miami. From the media eye, looked like you had a pretty good game out there. How did you feel about it?
I think I had a good game. Obviously, a couple plays within the game you wish you could have back, but that's football. Every play is not going to be perfect. But all in all, I think the main goal was to have fun. I definitely think I had fun. I executed at a high level, so there's always pluses.
The fans are calling us saying, first game out there for Jarian, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. I mean, that's, baptism by fire. You looked like you belonged out there, man. People were talking about the one play where you were running step for step with Tyreek Hill, considered to be one of the fastest guys in the league. It's got to feel good knowing that, the fan base really enjoys the effort you're throwing out there.
I love that the fans, think that, but, I always thought highly of myself, regardless of what, anybody thought or what anybody said, so, I hold myself at a high pedestal, and I hold myself to high standards, so I don't think that'll ever change, regardless of what anyone says, but I definitely felt like I belonged, and I felt like that a long time ago, so regardless of what would have happened in the game, I definitely would have still thought I belonged.
What's the thought in the DB room? Tyson looks like he's going to miss some time. Darby, we'll see about Monteric. What's the thought in the DB room without Tyson going to be out there?
First, prayers to Tyson and, what he's going on. But, it's next man up, each one teach one, so, just somebody going to have to step up and make some plays.
Cleveland comes in here, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore. They got some talent with Deshaun Watson back there. It did not go well for them in week one. They're going to come out pretty fired up in week two. Yeah. What have you seen from them on tape?
They're pretty explosive. They operate at a high level. Amari Cooper, he is who he is. They have some nice receivers over there, I respect the game, so therefore I have to respect them, but I definitely respect us and what we have going on, and I think it's going to be a great matchup, I just can't wait for it.
As we wrap up, you talked about when you were drafted being a Jaguar fan. Now you get to play your first regular season game in Jacksonville at Everbank Stadium. I see the smile on your face. How excited are you to get out there in front of the home crowd?
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I've never been to NFL game ever. So being at home for my first one, I think that's gonna kind of be crazy for real. I've never been here, so I'm excited to see what the fans look like and what it looks like. Last game I played at home was at Florida State, and that was rocking. So I'm definitely excited to see what this look like.
Got to ask you as we say goodbye. 0-2. Come on, man. What's going on with the Knowles?
I just think we got to get better every week. I think they're still finding themselves and what their identity is going to be, but I think they got to attack every day and just find ways to get better.
I agree. I think they're going to beat Memphis on Saturday. Jarian, best of luck on Sunday against Cleveland.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
There you go, Jarian Jones. I told Rick this during the 2-minute drill there. I am already a gigantic Jarian Jones fan. The guy is just, first off, he's just a likable dude, all right? He's just a good guy to talk to. He's very nice to us, very cordial with us, and we certainly appreciate that. And even take that aside, he looks like he's going to be a heck of a football player. So when you combine the fact that he's a good guy and he also looks like he's going to be a heck of a football player, boy, try not to get too high on a third-round pick, too early. But I'm pretty happy with the Jaguars selection of Jarian Jones in round 3, no question about that. More NFL talk, more Jaguar talk coming up in about 35 minutes or so. My buddy Leon Searcy will join me, and we will break down Jacksonville and Cleveland. Coming up next, a big Saturday of college football. Let's talk to my buddy Matt Hayes, national college football writer, and, of course, you hear him every day on XL Primetime. Let's talk Florida, Florida State, a little Georgia, a little Miami as well. That's next, Wednesday night, Hacker After Dark, right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
He's mastered the art of incognito.
Charming, sophisticated secret agent.
Case Carline takes you behind enemy lines 5 hours before kickoff on 1010XL. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carline for MyBookie. Football is back. Winning season is back. MyBookie's here to make sure you're ready to cash in on the action. This season, MyBookie is pulling out all the stops with incredible promotions like weekly risk-free boosts on Thursdays, where you can bet without a sweat. If your bet hits, you win big, and if it doesn't, forget it. MyBookie will refund your wager. But that's just the beginning. MyBookie is giving away hundreds of thousands in prizes with their Super Survivor and Squares contests. Get your entries in now for a shot at huge cash rewards. For a limited time, they are bringing back the double deposit bonus when you're ready to get started. Use my promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Remember, exclusive giveaways and bigger rewards. MyBookie is the lock of the century. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime, and make sure your season is a winning one.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a dust bunny breeder from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Steve Johnson. Welcome to the show, Steve.
It's great to be here, Alex.
Yeah, you don't have to answer in the form of a question, Steve.
What is this game show?
See, that's another question.
Are you going to ask me about air conditioners?
Yeah, okay. How about we just send the Bueller guys over and you can annoy them with all your questions? Johnny?
That's right, Steve. Bueller Air and Plumbing can answer all your air conditioning questions. Repair options, replacement models, and how to make your AC last longer while saving electricity. Making sure you are cool.
Where is the parking lot?
You're killing me, Steve.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
He's not Pistol Pete, he's Pete Prisco.
Been on the one list almost 20 years.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Frangie Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Come to Lifetime Flooring this Thursday from noon to 2 to see the XL Primetime Show live. Get your name in the bucket for a chance to win tickets to Nathaniel Ratliff at Daly's Place September 16th. This Thursday from noon to 2 at Lifetime Flooring on Phillips Highway.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
After a storm passes, the assessment of the aftermath begins. Sometimes damage to the roof is obvious, like leaks or missing shingles, broken or damaged gutters, or tree debris. But storm damage is not always as clearly present. Universal Roofing Contracting is here to help and will come assess your roof for any hidden damage. Call Universal Roof to schedule your free roof inspection at 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to come out and experience one of the most beautiful and unique golf courses in North Florida. Affordable golf, friendly service, and great times in the Hills Grill after play. Book your tee time, hiddenhillsgc.com.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Regular strength training is key to maintaining muscle mass. Like muscle building, you need to stress the muscle to maintain strength. This means lifting enough weight and doing enough reps to the point where it's too hard to do one more. Yoga and Pilates are also lower impact muscle building workouts that help maintain lean body mass and improve flexibility. Let's get moving, Jacksonville.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you be active, reach weight loss goals, and find your inner strength while you connect with your community. Family memberships at the Y include unlimited group exercise classes, childcare while you work out, and youth sports participation. It's easy to join the Y and affordable for all. Plus, the Y is a great place to meet a new circle of friends. Visit the Y near you or online at fcymca.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Boy, what an interesting Saturday of college football we have in store for us. Florida, Texas A&M, Memphis, Florida State. I guess I'll throw in there Georgia, Kentucky, but my goodness, Kentucky looked pretty terrible last week. Let's talk about all of it with my buddy Matt Hayes. You hear him every day on XL Primetime. Of course, Matt is a national college football writer, been covering the game for a long time, and he's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Matt, how we doing?
Doing great, Hack. How are you guys doing tonight?
Matt, we're good. First time I've talked to you on air. Congrats on the new gig, man. That's awesome.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Very blessed. Very, very happy.
Yeah, Matt, of course, now with the USA Today and doing a great job covering the world of college football. All right, Billy Napier. Obviously, it's a big game for the program. We'll get to that. We'll get to Lagway and Mertz in a moment. But, Matt, clearly this is a gigantic game for Billy Napier on Saturday.
Yeah, actually, I wrote a column about it. It's running tomorrow in USA Today. I mean, at this point, DJ Lagway can save his job, or it can just get even worse. And you know, this is kind of where he is right now. And look, you can make excuse after excuse that you want that he walked into a bad situation. And first off, I hate that excuse when coaches use that. You know, we walked into a mess here. Well, guess what? You were hired to clean it up. You were hired to make it right. And if year three, if it's still a mess and it's still an operational mess on the field, who's that on? So, I mean, there's no doubt this is on him. He knows that. He's the guy who talked for 8 months about how this is going to be different. It was a different team, different mindset. These guys, it was everybody in that team was his. He either recruiter or guy from the portal, all but I think 7. So it's his team. This is his team now, his group. There are no more excuses. So I think that's where you're at right now if you're Florida. And it's, I don't want to hear the excuse about the schedule either because it's ridiculous. Everybody at the end of the day has a tough schedule. You got to deal with it. You're in the best league in the nation. You get paid that way to be in the best league in the nation. Work it out. You're getting paid $7 million a year, $8 million a year. Deal with it. Find a way to fix it. And if you have it in 3 years, then guess what? You're going to get grief. You're going to have pressure. You're going to have people saying it's too much for you, and that's where he's at right now.
Matt Hayes here with us on Hacker After Dark. Matt, I made this point before Miami. Look, Miami was the glamour game leading in. Obviously, it turned into a nightmare. But I always thought in this offseason that A&M was going to be a big tell for Napier because Mike Elko is in Game 3. It's going to be his first game on the road as the A&M coach. It's going to be his first SEC game as the A&M head coach. And if in Game 3, Mike Elko leads those Aggies into Gainesville and they knock off Florida, or dare I say have an easy time with Florida and Billy Napier, who's in year 3, that's damning. I mean, I don't know what other word to describe it. I mean, from that standpoint, Napier, a 3-year head start on Elko. Man, they got to win this game Saturday, do they not?
Well, I will say this. If you don't think that Miami game was damning, then not you, just in general. I don't know what you're watching with this Florida program now in the last 3 years, because that Miami game was as damning as, getting pulled in the middle of midfield in front of 90,000 people and your dad pulling your pants down and spanking you. That's what that was like. It was absolutely and completely embarrassing. And it's embarrassing for anyone who plays for that team. It's embarrassing for anybody who coaches on that team. It's for any administrator who had any kind of hand in hiring him. Everybody now is in panic mode. There's no doubt they are. Now, the question is, does this rare talent, or can this rare talent quarterback, DJ Lagway, is he the type of guy that can learn quickly, that can learn on the fly, that can adjust quickly? He's going to make mistakes, Hack. He's going to throw interceptions. He's going to have problems with ball security. He'll fumble the ball. Okay, he's going to miss a read. He'll miss an open guy. But the high level of reward is still there. You're going to have the risk. The reward is greater than the risk. And I think you know what you've got with Graham Mertz. You saw it against Miami. And it's not all on him either. Their offensive line is not that good. But I think in DJ Lagway, you've got a guy with the arm talent that kind of opens things up and that can allow you to have a decent offensive line because he can make up for mistakes with his arm strength, with his ability to throw it vertically, to get it to the third level, to kind of prevent defenses from rolling safeties up and to stop the run because they know nothing's getting over their head. You know, when you've got a guy that can break tendencies like that, you have a chance. Now, the question is, can he do it so early? This is second start. First start was may as well have been against Bowles. It's just a little practice run. This is real deal now. This is an elite defensive line. This is one of the best defensive minds in college football. This is a big boy game right here. So now how does DJ Lagway react? And more to the point, how does the Florida staff, including Billy Napier, because there's no doubt, and I think everybody needs to know this over and over, he's the offensive coordinator, he's the quarterback's coach, and he's the play caller. No matter what titles anyone else has, those are all his jobs, okay? So how does he put DJ Lagway in position to have the most success and avoid the most problems? And I think that, if you're a Florida fan, that's what you're looking at this week. If they lose, it's still a situation where, DJ Lagway had a plan, and it looked like a workable plan. But there was a freshman mistake here or a freshman mistake there, wrapped around a couple big plays, and it just wasn't enough. I can see that. It's not going to help him as far as his job security, being Billy Napier, but at least you're showing that, yes, we have this guy in a situation, in a framework where he can be successful. Because it's rare that we've seen that so far in 2 years and 2 games with this coaching staff.
A couple more from Matt Hayes quickly, because I want to get to Florida State and a couple of other topics. You expect we'll see both quarterbacks, assuming Mertz is cleared, which I would imagine he would be by Saturday?
I think if Mertz is cleared, and I assume he will be the way they were talking, he's going to be cleared, I think he starts.
Yeah, I do too.
And I think Lagway will come in quickly. There's no doubt about that. If he starts and they go 3 and out, I think Lagway's probably in the next series. Because I don't. If you're Billy Napier, I don't think you can fool around at this point. I don't think you can say, okay, well, let's give him another series. Let's see what will happen. I don't think you can get there at this point. You've got to do something to shake up what you're doing, to change like the trend where this thing is headed.
There's a bye week, a couple before Georgia. There's also some tough contests before Georgia. I mean, is there a scenario, barring a catastrophe, right? I mean, if they lose 5 in a row, but I don't think that's going to happen, although I guess it could. Is there a scenario, though, Matt, where Billy Napier doesn't make it to Georgia?
Oh, of course there is. I don't think there's any question. I mean, look, if you look at the history of this program, okay, other than Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer, since Spurrier got there in 90, other than Spurrier and Meyer, every other coach has been fired before the end of the season. Every one of them. So the idea that they won't fire him before the end of the season, or that they won't fire him at X point or this point or that point, is ridiculous. Of course they will. And that's just, in fact, it's their MO right now. So I think you've got to go on track record. Is it unique because the guy who hired him and the president who hired him, who's now the interim president, Dr. Fox, is it unique that they're going to have to fire somebody they hired? Of course it is. That stuff happens all the time. All the time. At the end of the day, if you get to the point where people aren't showing up and you're getting 30,000, 40,000 people to games, fan apathy is the killer. That is the death knell for all this kind of stuff. Because you can talk about money and, are you doing the right thing? And do coaches need more time? And look, if fans start to walk away, that's it, man. That's where it ends. And here's another thing too, Hat. The whole $26 million buyout. First off, don't be afraid by that because number one, they have the money. But more than anything, that will be mitigated, and it'll be a very easy mitigation too. Because at that point, you say, all right, we're under NCAA investigation. That's clearly goes against the contract that he signed. That is clearly firing for cause. All right? It happens all the time. And my guess is that's how they will mitigate that deal. They won't pay him the full 26. They'll pay him a portion of it because of the NCAA stuff.
It's a big game for Florida on Saturday, 3:30. Texas A&M comes into the Swamp. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. Matt, noon on Saturday in Tallahassee. Who would have ever saw this? 2-0 Memphis against 0-2 Florida State. Look, Florida State's playing a group of 5 team at home, all right? I'm going to pick Florida State to win more than likely. But with the way the college football playoff is set up, with the top-ranked group of 5 conference champion getting in, well, this is a resume builder to an extent for Memphis, right? I think Florida State's got to expect Memphis' best shot here.
Oh, yeah, 100%. This game's everything for Memphis. They feel like they can not only win the American, but they like you said, they can grab that one spot that goes to the group of 5, the highest-ranked group of 5 champion. But look, this comes down to Florida State. Florida State has a way better roster. Florida State's better at Memphis at every position on the field except for quarterback. And you're at home. They've got to find a way to figure out what's going on at quarterback. And I don't know. It's a lot like with Mercer, Florida. I don't know that Mike Norvell can be patient anymore with DJU. Like if DJ Uiagalelei gets to a point where they're in the same situation and they're quarter and a half into the game, Hack, and they're down 7-0 or they're down 10-3, I don't know that you can wait anymore because, number one, Sean Hennigan's a good quarterback, and Memphis has a good offense. Their defense is kind of sketchy, but if they get to the point where they're scoring and Florida State can't do anything on that defense with DJU back there, I think you got to say, all right, what's our next move right now? You know, do we put Brock Glenn in there? Do we make a change? Do we at least do something to try and shake it up? Because at that point, you'll be looking at, almost 10 quarters of what in the world is going on at the quarterback spot. And I don't know that you can continue to go down that road.
Is there a bigger disappointment in the country so far than Florida State?
I don't think so, but I also don't know why everybody's so surprised by it. Like, we talked about this for months in the offseason, Hack. Every time you ask me about DJU, I'd say, he is who he is. We saw him. Florida State is banking on the fact that Mike Norvell can develop him into something that he's not. We saw the way he developed Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis became a phenomenal college player. But DJU is who he is, and he has not changed. He hasn't changed in the last 3 years. He's doing the same stuff he did at Clemson, the same stuff he did at Oregon State, and now the same stuff here. He is the same guy. There's no difference. So, we were joking about this today on XL Primetime off the air. We were like, at the end of the day, you know what it was? It was Florida State didn't want to pay Cam Ward what he wanted, so they went to DJU. Now look at Miami and now look at Florida State. Look at the difference between the two teams right now. If Florida State had Cam Warren right now, are you kidding me? We'd be talking about, they're locked for the playoff right now.
Cam Ward is absolutely ridiculous. And as we wrap up with Matt Hayes, again, you hear him every day on XL Primetime. Matt, quickly, how good is Miami? How good is Georgia, the other two local teams in our area?
Well, Georgia's phenomenal, Hack. I know a lot of people are starting to talk about Texas, and they want to put Texas at the top spot, and I'm okay with that. But Georgia's just, I think Georgia, there's too much of the experience of being the number one team. There's too much talent. They've got the best roster, I think, in college football, including better than Ohio State's roster. I love Georgia. That's number one. Miami, here's what I love Cam Ward and what he's brought to them and how he's changed their offense. But Hack, I'm telling you right now, what shocked me more than anything against Florida was that defense. The way they were dominant in the front seven, they have brand new secondary, the way they covered, the way they were tight in coverage, and the way they pursued. They haven't been like that on defense in a long time, man. And they are big and fast on defense. That's what surprised me more than anything about Miami.
You hear Matt Hayes every day on XL Primetime. You read his terrific work now at the USA Today. Matt, tell us about the Friday show, 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, college kickoff. What can we expect in a couple of nights?
Yeah, every Friday from 6 to 7, we get after it. We take it from a national perspective, and we also have Baloo in every week with a Seminole report. He breaks down Florida State because we can never get enough Florida State. But we'll talk about all the games nationally. We'll talk about the playoff picture. We'll do it every week from 6 to 7 on 92.5 FM Hack and 1010 on the AM.
He's one of the best nationally when it comes to covering college football, my friend Matt Hayes. Matt, thank you as always, brother. We'll talk again soon.
Okay, Hack.
Always appreciate Matt joining us here on Hacker After Dark. It's interesting. I mean, Denmark, these two games on Saturday, for two really opposite reasons, are just gigantic for Florida and Florida State. From a Seminole standpoint, look, Mike Norvell is not going anywhere. People can get as mad as they want. He's in there for the long haul. I don't believe he should go anywhere. But they're staring 0-3 at the face. And the aspect of Memphis looking at this as a resume builder to try to be that 12th and final team in the college football playoff is really interesting. I imagine any trick play, any fumble rooski, if you will, that Memphis has been working on the entire offseason, they probably will throw it all at Florida State to try to get this resume win for themselves. And as far as Florida goes, look, if Mike Elko in Game 3 beats Billy Napier in Year 3, that noise in the system, as we talk about, will just get ratcheted up more and more and more. That's a nice little doubleheader on Saturday. Florida State at noon, Florida at 3:30.
Yeah, I was at the Florida-Miami game, and I put out a tweet middle of the third quarter. There was a lot of fans that left with like 7 minutes left in the third quarter. And my tweet was, a lot of those fans that left in the middle of the third quarter won't be back until Florida has another head coach. It felt like in that moment that fans had given up. Well, now fans have a little bit of hope that, they can go to a game because of the excitement of DJ Lagway. If they don't have that this Saturday, you can forget the rest of the season for home games and you having a lot of the alumni and a lot of your boosters going to the games because they just don't want to see that stuff.
It'll be a full crowd on Saturday, right?
Oh, yeah, it will be. What I'm saying, if it's not up to par and it's not good what they want to see, they won't be at UCF game. They won't be at LSU, and you just forget about it.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a big game. It's a winnable game. Look, Florida's next two games, they probably should win. I mean, why you would think they can't beat Texas A&M, I don't know. They have more talent than Mississippi State, albeit that's on the road. And that's what I was referring to last night. And I got a lot of responses on the text line and on social media, and I got some really disparaging remarks on Facebook. That was interesting. It's so funny, the tough guys on social media, right? When you have a different sports opinion than they do. My entire thought process is this. Florida fans, some of you have given up on Billy Napier, and fine. He's 12 and 15 in 27 games. I get it. I get the frustration. I get the fact that you don't think he can turn it around. Why would you think that? Very similarly, why would Florida State fan have thought that a few years ago about Mike Norvell? Some of the things Florida State people were telling me about Mike Norvell would make a sailor blush. Then all of a sudden, he starts winning a game. Then winning another game. Then a couple of wins in a row. And by and large, all of a sudden, he's ACC Coach of the Year, maybe National Coach of the Year, and gets a brand new contract extension. Am I saying that's going to happen with Billy Napier? Probably not. Would it shock you? I don't think after the Norvell thing in Tallahassee, anything should shock you. They lost to Jacksonville State on the final play of the game when they allowed a 60-yard post pattern for a touchdown. That happened. And that happened not all that long ago. And then they went 13-0 just 2 years later. Again, the ACC versus the SEC. I get there are differences in that regard. But what if Billy goes out and beats A&M on Saturday, then turns around and goes to Starkville and beats Mississippi State? Are you still calling for his head at 3-1? I don't know. Maybe that'll be a conversation in a couple of weeks if Florida is able to win these next two ball games. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We will take you up till 10 o'clock this evening here on Hacker After Dark. As always, we certainly appreciate you hanging out with us. We'll get back into the National Football League coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. We're less than 20 minutes away from Leon Searcy. You get him every day on primetime, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars, as we will preview the Jaguars and the Browns. Coming up at the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour, we will go over to Gainesville, Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247, again, to continue the conversation about Billy Napier, his future, and what this game looks like on Saturday between Florida and Texas A&M. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go, Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark till 10 o'clock right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Let's go, defense! A good-looking defense does more than protect your zone. It can enhance your home. Hey, this is our house! This is our house! After the game, catch the superior Fence and Rail Defensive Player of the Game on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. You know, back on February the 20th, I weighed 317 pounds. Yeah, 317 pounds. I woke up this morning at 225 pounds. 92 pounds down in just over 6 months. And it's all thanks to Awaken 180, the best weight loss program I've ever been on. It's life-changing. And I'm not understating that. It's life-changing. And quite frankly, it probably saved my life. Again, if it's time for you to lose weight like it was for me, whether it's 10, 20, 30 pounds, or whether it's a ton of weight like I had to lose, take it from a guy who's lost 90 pounds on this program. Awaken 180 works. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. That company, that program, they're changing lives. I'm one of them. You could be the next. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by November 7th.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
Facing a DUI charge or even a boating under the influence charge? Well, I'm your man, DUI lawyer Malcolm Anthony at 285-4LAW. 285-4LAW. Once again, 285-4LAW.
Mortgage rates have plummeted, and Loan Pronto clients are locking in the lowest rates we've seen in years. Hey, it's Roger Moore, founder and CEO of Loan Pronto. It's happening. We are finally locking APRs in the 5s, something we haven't seen for a long time. If that sky-high rate is killing you or you need to get cash out of your home equity, now is the time to take action. Or listen, even if you want to keep that first mortgage rate intact, you can take advantage of lower rates with our Equity Express line of credit. We're seeing homeowners take $50, $75, $200 or more out of their equity and wiping out that high-interest debt with an average savings of $850 per month. Bottom line, your home value is way up and mortgage rates have come way down, making this a great time to act. Call today for a 30-second rate quote. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
Don't bet the National Football League this season without your VSiN NFL betting guide. Betting previews for all 32 teams, betting trends, VSiN's exclusive in-depth win total projections, and a guide on how to use betting splits to bet and win. Download your free copy of the guide right now, featuring a betting preview of your Jacksonville Jaguars. 1010XL.com. That's 1010XL.com.
It's the best time of the year again. It's football season, and with football season here, fantasy football has arrived. And forget the season-long leagues. Underdog Fantasy and the Underdog Fantasy app is the way to go. I've been playing it now for almost a year, and it is just suits me to a T. First of all, it's simple, right? Just choose higher or lower on statistical projections or compete against others in player-v-player fantasy games. Either way, there's so many options. There's research there on the site. It's easy to use, and right now, you can get a little bit extra. That's right. Go to the mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code PROSSER. They're going to give you a special to use on your first contest and a deposit offer. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code PROSSER, and claim your new customer offer. Do it right now, plus a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Got to be 18 or over, got to be present in the state where it's played, and call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org if you have a problem.
Make the move to ABS, Advanced Business Solutions, and you won't hear your employees complain about the copier anymore. Instead, you'll hear this. Advanced Business Solutions, your local Xerox dealer.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Back into the National Football League. Leon Searcy joins me in less than 15 minutes. Towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour, we will go to Gainesville. Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247, to talk Billy Napier, Florida, Texas A&M, and more. You know, in the AFC South, well, actually, let's begin with tomorrow night. It's a big game tomorrow night, right, in the NFL to kick off Week 2. Miami coming off their, their comeback win over the Jags. They're back at home to take on the Buffalo Bills, who are coming off winning a game, but they survived Arizona. What a big game in the AFC East early in the year. And I guess rooting interest here in Jacksonville, you probably want Buffalo to beat Miami to put a loss on the Dolphins because they have a tiebreaker over you. Never can think too far ahead. But how about this? You realize Buffalo is going to have 11 days off between tomorrow night and when they play the Jaguars on Monday Night Football? They basically have 2 bye weeks. 11 days off. The Bills play tomorrow night. They will not play again until Jacksonville goes to Buffalo a week from Monday. That's wild. Wild. Miami's already ruled out Raheem Mostert. We'll see about Devon Achane. Jacksonville may not have won the game, but they kind of beat the Dolphins up a little bit. And then in the AFC South, the Houston Texans take the national spotlight Sunday night as they play the Chicago Bears. In theory, that should be a good game, right? Caleb Williams versus C.J. Stroud. Let's be real. Houston's going to win that game. They're at home, Sunday Night Football. First time Sunday Night Football has been in Houston in a long time. You would expect the Texans to have an easy time of that with Chicago. Indianapolis goes to Green Bay. Indianapolis gets a little fortunate in that it appears Jordan Love will not play, although Matt LaFleur of Green Bay has not necessarily ruled Jordan Love out yet, which is interesting, but I can't imagine Love playing in that game. We'll see what that ultimately means for the Colts going to Lambeau. And then the Titans have their first home game in Nashville against the New York Jets. And something's going to give there because both offenses look downright pitiful. The Jets against the 49ers, the Titans in the second half against Chicago looked pitiful. So if you really look at the South, you would expect Houston to win to get to 2-0. I don't know what to make about Indianapolis going to Green Bay. I think that'll be hard for Indy with or without Jordan Love. I would think the Jets with Aaron Rodgers would circle the wagons and go to Nashville and win a game. Although the Jets might have been, I don't know, maybe the Jets and Cincinnati tied for the biggest disappointments in Week 1. Denmark, would you agree with that? The Jets were awful, and Cincinnati lost at home to New England. The 2 biggest disappointments?
Yeah. The way the Titans lost was bad, but they don't have expectations like the other two.
Yeah, Tennessee, for those of you that did not see that, they were up 17-0. And they lost a game in which they gave up a blocked punt for a touchdown, and Will Levis threw one of the more inexcusable pick sixes you will ever see in your life. And that is how Tennessee lost to Chicago. I hope Calvin Ridley enjoys that money, and I know he will. But he's not going to win anything up there. They brought in so many guys, so many free agents. I don't know about Will Levis, man. Last week was not good. But he does make his home debut as the starting quarterback again in 2024, taking on Aaron Rodgers and the New York Football Jets coming up on Sunday. Speaking of Sunday, Cleveland, Jacksonville. Cleveland's got injury problems. Cleveland's got off-the-field issues with Deshaun Watson facing another lawsuit. David Njoku been ruled out. 4 defensive players for Cleveland that played on Sunday in their loss to Dallas have already been ruled out. This is a game Jacksonville needs to win. They need to win this game. Let's talk Jaguars. Let's talk Browns with my buddy Leon Searcy. Hear him every day on Primetime. Former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He, of course, is alongside myself and Dave Campo as well on the 5th quarter. Talking Jaguars, talking Browns, and talking with you. And Leon Searcy next on Hacker After Dark.
If you want more action,
Woo! It's Smash Mouth football, baby!
Tom McManus.
Fridays 10 to noon on Jaguars Today.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors. A better way to a better window on 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey everyone, it's football season and we wanted to go to the drawing board to make this year's predictions. Let's compare our 2 blonde all-stars. Most touchdowns, best pricing in the market. Most passing yards, gives the most for your trade. Most receptions, free oil changes with every purchase. Super Bowl champion, wow customer service. This looks like a winning season for everyone. Come see Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville where you can score big all season long.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician, Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Rotator cuff tears are the most common overhead injuries I see. In order to avoid shoulder issues, make sure not to overload the front of the shoulder while also focusing on developing good scapular strength and maintaining flexibility in your lats. Proper hydration, nutrition, and supplementation are also crucial to joint and muscle health. Go Jag.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carlyon for MyBookie. Football is back. Winning season is back. MyBookie's here to make sure you're ready to cash in on the action. This season, MyBookie is pulling out all the stops with incredible promotions like weekly risk-free boosts on Thursdays where you can bet without a sweat. If your bet hits, you win big, and if it doesn't, forget it. MyBookie will refund your wager. But that's just the beginning. MyBookie is giving away hundreds of thousands in prizes with their Super Survivor and Squares contests. Get your entries in now for a shot at huge cash rewards. For a limited time, they are bringing back the double deposit bonus when you're ready to get started. Use my promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Remember, exclusive giveaways and bigger rewards. MyBookie is the lock of the century. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime, and make sure your season is a winning one.
Okay, you've decided it's time to sell your home. How do you go from a problem to a promise? Listen, there are problems that come with selling one's homes, but with the promise of ChadandSandy.com, you're going to get there, and you're going to get there in the best possible way. You see, here's the promise. Your home sold, guaranteed, or they will buy it. So go to ChadandSandy.com. Listen, lots of stories of proof out there. We're going to get to those in just a second. But maybe you need more space for your office or growing family, or you're worried about costly repairs. Chad and Sandy are the local real estate experts you can trust. We recommend them for the sale of your home. They guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price. By a deadline, or they'll buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. No long-term contracts. You get it all with Chad and Sandy. Don't believe me? Ask Stephen and Marlene in Eagle Hammock. We needed to move quickly to Ohio to be with family. We heard about Chad and Sandy on the radio, and all we heard is true. Call Chad and Sandy today or go to ChadandSandy.com.
What's the weekend in sports look like? I'm Dan Hicken, and I'll give you my take on the Weekend with Dan. Find it on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan, brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
Universal Roof and Contracting has been protecting Florida homes from the elements for over 30 years. Call Universal Roof and Contracting today for a free roof inspection and get 15% off your roof repair or replacement. Plus, flexible financing options and payments as low as $115 a month. This offer expires September 30th. Call 855-ROOF-HELP.
License number CCC 1330747, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Why is it important not to spit out watermelon seeds? Answer next.
When you call Southern Oak and file a claim, you'll be handled by our hand-picked vendors who will analyze any roof, storm, or water damage. It'll save money for you.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Watermelon seeds contain a tremendous source of power. They're rich in vitamins, protein, zeta-3, zinc, and fatty acids.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
The average cost associated with childhood cancer is a startling $833,000. This is Tom Coughlin, and September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Help the J Fund raise awareness to help our neighbors and community members tackling this devastating disease. Visit tcjfund.org/September for more information.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. TAP Insulation stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Keep your home cool, noise out, and pests dead. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free inspection.
Come to Lifetime Flooring this Thursday from noon to 2 to see the XL Primetime Show live. Get your name in the bucket for a chance to win tickets to Nathaniel Ratliff at Daly's Place September 16th. This Thursday from noon to 2 at Lifetime Flooring on Phillips Highway.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Browns, Sunday, 1 o'clock, the home opener at Everbank Stadium. Of course, after the game, you'll get the head coach, Dave Campo. You'll get yours truly, and, of course, the Pro Bowler, Leon Searcy, on the fifth quarter. And with that, let me welcome in my friend, Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He joins us here every week on Hacker After Dark. Leon, how you doing, pal?
I'm good, bro.
Boy, we're a lot better than we were on Sunday. We were both, you, myself, and Coach Campo, all three of us. It was a tough fifth quarter. The fans were not happy. But, Leon, you've had a couple of days now to kind of take a deep breath, decompress from the loss to Miami. After a few days, do you sense more positivity going into week 2 against Cleveland, or are you still upset what happened last Sunday?
No, I'm over it, Hack. And, hopefully this team is over it. I mean, when they got back and watched the film on Monday, I'm sure the coaching staff could have assessed missed opportunities. And that's the most frustrating thing about it is that when you watch the film and you look at the missed opportunities, you kind of look at it and say, man, we let this one go, because they had complete control of the game for at least the first 40 minutes. I'm talking about offensively and defensively. And then they allowed something like a turnover. Instead of it, I was talking to Coach Campo about this in the fifth quarter. Defense, it's always something called sudden change, where the defense has to, fight its way back over offense doing the turn. And that's the whole team approach should have been that way. Instead of panicking over the turnover, and it was devastating turnover with all the momentum shifting from the Jaguars to Miami, but you got to get over it. Bad things happen in the NFL, turnovers, interceptions, pick six, but how you respond to it is more important than the actual occurrence.
There were a lot of guys on Sunday in Miami that, quite frankly, did not play very good games. And I want to begin with your former position on the offensive line. Anton Harrison, that was a struggle for whatever reason. I didn't think Cam Robinson played particularly well. You're the guy to ask. I mean, what did you make of Harrison and Robinson, and do you have concern there?
Well, I mean, they were a disappointment. I mean, I thought going into the season that they were the strength. I thought that, all the concerns with the interior of the offensive line, I thought that at one particular position, well, both positions, the left and the right tackle position, they were steadfast. And I don't know, for whatever reason, Anton Harrison kind of resorted back to his rookie ways. And quite frankly, it was hard to watch, Hack, because, I saw this kid develop. I saw this kid from when he played against Kansas City and Chris Jones, and he got exposed to his steady growth throughout the season to the point where I thought this kid was going to be a stud going into. Now let me just say this. Now, not one game does not a season make, So he can learn from this experience and move on it. But what I saw Sunday against the Dolphins reminded me a lot of what he was early on in the season last year, and I've seen the kid progress from there. And as far as Cam Robinson goes, I mean, he's got to listen. He's going to have a tough task. I mean, Myles Garrett is a beast. I mean, he's a full course meal, and he's going to play every down, every play fast. And Cam Robinson has times where he looks good, he looks solid, and then he has times where he has breakdowns and he seems uninterested. So I mean, that's got to stop. That's got to change, and it's definitely got to change this week when you got a formidable pass rusher in Myles Garrett, who's one of the best.
Former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on XL Primetime. You get him weekly here on the fifth quarter, you get him weekly on the fifth quarter and weekly here as well on Hacker After Dark. All right, Leon. So you look at some of the positives from the game against Miami. Tank Bigsby, I thought, was a big positive. Mm-hmm. Brian Thomas Jr., Gabe Davis, I thought were big positives. It was interesting. The guys that, quite frankly, did not play very well, I mean, Evan Ingram, I won't say that he didn't play well. They just didn't throw him the ball. Christian Kirk had a couple of drops. We talked about Anton Harrison. The kind of the core, your core guys, ETN with the fumble, yet the guys that maybe you didn't count on as much or you didn't think would be the nucleus, like a Gabe Davis, like a Tank Bigsby, certainly like a Brian Thomas Jr., I thought those guys were very, very solid on Sunday. What was your thought there?
They were, and that's unfortunate, to be quite honest with you. Not that the new guys played well, but that the foundation of this team, of this organization, didn't play well. The guys that you had mentioned, the Christian Kirks, the ATNs, the Cam Robertsons, the Anton Harrisons, those type of guys. Evan Ingram, I mean, I can't fault him for only getting 4. He only got the ball thrown to him 4 times and only had 1 reception for 5 yards, so I can't blame him. But, yeah, I mean, the foundation in which this team that moving forward was built on, those guys kind of, jumped ship, didn't play as well as they should have played. It was encouraging to see the young guys or the new guys that came in excel. So, I mean, in order to get, to right this ship, the guys that have been here, that, established the framework in which the Jacksonville Jaguars are, those guys have got to play better. And then the new guys or the young guys will just be accessories. So, and it's one game, and I'm sure that Doug Peterson in the meeting room alluded to the fact that some of the guys that have been here long, 2 or 3 years, have got to play better.
On the defensive line, really the entire defense, I thought played pretty well, minus 3 plays against Miami. Certainly the 80-yarder, the 62-yarder to Waddle, those were big chunk plays, but by and large, you hold Miami to 20 points on opening day in South Florida. I think Jacksonville would have taken that. And Trayvon Walker, man, you and I talked about it this offseason. Amidst that collapse last year, losing 5 out of 6, what kind of got lost in that is that Walker really started to find himself as far as getting after the opposing quarterback. Couple of sacks last week, including one where he just bull rushed the offensive tackle, got to Tua, took him out of field goal range. I'm pretty excited out of what we're seeing out of Trayvon Walker right now.
I mean, because of the loss I mean, that's what's been lost in translation is the fact that Trayvon Walker balled the hell out in that game. I'm talking about not only the sacks, the run stuff, the getting after it, the collapsing of the pocket, that kind of stuff. I mean, listen, if that's any indication of what the rest of the season is going to look like, I mean, he's going to have a hell of a season. I mean, he was attack field on the run. He was getting after it, collapsing on the pass protection. That inside hump move that he threw on that right tackle was, I kind of had flashbacks of Reggie, and to be quite honest with you, because he had that offensive lineman on his toes when he came with that inside move, and then the effort, while he was going down to still, reach out and sack Tua. So, I mean, that's what's being lost in all of, and then Armstead. I mean, the arm over rip move to get around the right guard was just magnificent. So, yeah, I mean. And their ability to only rush 4 and play man across the board and still get pressure, so that's going to be key down the stretch, that we don't have to bring 5 or 6 guys, that we can get a decent pass rush with 4 guys, and then we can play on the back end and cover the receivers. So, I mean, hats go off to Nielsen and his mix and match and coverage and the man and zone and all that kind of stuff. I mean, kept Tua on his toes. So that was refreshing to see. And then when he did blitz, I liked the blitz packages that he brought in. I saw Devin Lloyd inside, going up against the guard. I saw Abdullah on the outside rushing and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, what's refreshing is that this defensive coordinator has packages where he's including certain guys in his packages and he's mixing and matching it to keep the offense on his toes.
A couple more for former Jaguar Pro Bowl offensive tackle Leon Searcy. All right, Leon, as we begin to shift our focus to Cleveland, it's been a couple of days. No doubt it was a gut-wrenching loss. Are the players over it now that we're into Wednesday, going into Thursday? Is the loss to Miami out of their system and it's full steam ahead to Cleveland?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Once you finish watching the film and the coaching staff, they're making corrections. I mean, you right after that, you're starting the game plan Cleveland. You're starting to, put together the plans on how to attack their defense, how to get after their offense. And Wednesday is about the business of beating the Browns. And this team needs this win. I mean, it's early in the season. I'm not saying that it's a must-win, but I'm saying that it looks a lot better on the resume 1-1 than 0-2.
Well, not only that, but when you got road games coming up at Buffalo, at Houston, this is your only home game in the month of September. Look, I'm not going to call it necessarily a must-win, but if there is such a thing as a September must-win in the NFL, this is probably in the ballpark for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's an interesting dynamic. Cleveland was embarrassed last week at home by Dallas. Deshaun Watson has issues going on again off the field. He looked horrible on the field. Jacksonville loses a heartbreaker. Which team is more anxious to get out there on Sunday to right last week's wrong, the Jaguars or the Browns?
Well, I hope it's the Jaguars. I mean, the Cleveland Browns looked a mess on both sides of the ball, to be quite honest with you. I mean, and the Cowboys got after them pretty good on the defensive front. Their attack-style defense got after them. I mean, they had 6 sacks and Deshaun Watson was never comfortable in the pocket and knocked them around. He was ineffective with the pass, the run, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, and as far as the defense, I mean, they were productive against them. Now, they were stymied when it came to running the football, but the Cowboys had so many the ineffectiveness of the Cleveland Browns offense affected the defense of the Browns, because now, they have to defend the short field. They're on the field much longer. Cowboys control time of possession. The Cowboys were able to run the ball decently. Dak had, he got sacked 3 times, but for the most part, he got the protection. Now, the Cleveland Browns shored it up in the second half, but in the first half, it was a complete domination. And they made the score respectable in the second half, kind of cleaned up some stuff. But overall, if you watch that game from start to finish, the Cowboys, I mean, they disassembled that team from start to finish. So the Jaguars have to watch that film, assess that film. Don't get overconfident by that film, because they're going to be a desperate team coming in. And you played this team before last year. You were ineffective again. I think Trevor threw 3 interceptions against them. You got to remember that. So some of the mechanisms or some of the game plan that they used effectively against the Jaguars, I'm sure they're going to see it again. So you've got to make the necessary corrections during the week, not to make those same mistakes. And you got to play solid. You got to dominate on both sides of the ball, especially with the offensive defensive line. Plus, this team's got to learn how to win at home. You've got 8 games at home or 9, whatever it may be. The worst you can do is lose 1 or 2 games at home, and then you got to split the road games, and then effectively finish the season either 10-7 or 11-6, and that'll get you in the playoffs.
Leon, as we begin to wrap up, both Cleveland offensive tackles, Jack Conklin and Jedrick Wills, missed last week. Their status for Sunday is up in the air. Both guys are coming off of knee injuries in 2023. Both guys returned to practice in a limited capacity about 2 weeks ago. You're the guy to ask over a decade in the NFL. When you're a tackle coming off a knee injury last year, you've had a week and a half of limited reps. If one or both of those guys get back out there on Sunday, how effective do you think they'll be?
On the road, listen, this offensive line, that Cleveland offensive line struggled against a Cowboys defensive front, and they were at home. All right, so now you're going on the road, the crowd noise, the silent count, you got knee issues, and you got 2 bookends. 2 bookend players in Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker who get after it. So, I'm hoping that it's going to be a long day for those tackles, to be quite honest with you. And they should be able to assert themselves against a very minimum, a weak tackle play that I saw last week against the Cowboys. So, I'm hoping that it's feeding time for the Jaguars' defensive front. They should be able to get after this offensive line.
All right, leave us with this. How do you go about stopping Myles Garrett?
You've got. Okay, I'm gonna use the Baselli factor. I'm gonna tell you what Baselli would do. I would think Baselli would quick set him, jump set him, snatch him a couple of times to the ground, frustrate him, get him off his mark. I'm using this because I'm thinking about Jason Taylor and what Baselli did against Jason. Jason was frustrated by the fact that Baselli quick set him, jump set him, grabbed him, snatched him. So but listen, Cam Robinson is no Baselli. So what I'm hoping for is somewhere between his ability and somewhere in the middle between Baselli. But I just know if Baselli had to play someone like that, I know the type of technique and fundamentals that he would probably use on them and will probably more than likely be successful against them.
It's a big game for the Jaguars, big game for the Browns, too. Somebody's going 0-2. You don't want to do that. The game's Sunday, 1 o'clock, Everbank Stadium. After the game, Leon, 2 hours after the game goes final, you, myself, the head coach Dave Campo, will have the 5th quarter, and we'll have it at Island Girl Cigar Bar over on Gate Parkway. I know we're excited about heading out there. That should be a lot of fun Sunday evening.
Yes, also known as the Watering Hole.
That's exactly right. Leon and I have broken bread there many times, and we will do it again, hopefully talking about a Jaguar victory on Sunday evening. Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowler for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Leon, thank you as always, pal. I'll see you Sunday.
You got it, bro.
It's not reinventing the wheel, it's making it roll down the field.
Let's keep it rolling.
Listen for the Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville drive of the game.
That's a great drive right there.
On 1010XL.
Keep going. We got to keep going, keep going, keep going.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero-Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero-Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zerorez. Zerorez.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. The seasons are shifting, but we're not done with the summer heat just yet. And you better believe your AC is still working hard. So do what I did and call the good folks at Fenwick Home Services and stay stress-free with a seasonal tune-up. Don't wait until the wear and tear of the summer heat causes major issues. Book your tune-up with Fenwick's expert technicians to avoid those costly breakdowns. You can trust Fenwick to get your AC running again and get it done right the first time. Book online at FenwickHomeservices.com.
It's the Sporting Jacks Soccer Hour. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley as they discuss the latest in the world of soccer, including Sporting Jacks bringing pro men's and women's soccer to Jacksonville. Tuesday nights at 6 on 1010 a.m.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
1 second left. Hackers are down by 6 at the goal line. Your defense is the only thing stopping them from scoring. Is your team prepared? Double Check Cybersecurity has your back. With an AI-powered defense, start your 14-day trial at doublecheck.com.
Get Gators play-by-play on 1010XL. Brought to you by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors. Proud partner of the Florida Gators.
Homeowners, good news for you. Accent on 4. Listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Prosser here. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted. So low, we haven't seen them in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.99% APR. So whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in process with another lender, stop now. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days, with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Call 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Owner approved credit, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Hi, everybody. Mike Dempsey here. Look, most goals we set for ourselves have a pretty clear course. I want a trip to Las Vegas. So you read a couple of reviews, talk to a few friends, save up some money, and you book it. Maybe a couple of choices along the way, but overall, it's a clear course to reach your goal. Now, if your goal is to lose 40 or 50 pounds, where's the clear path? You read reviews, talk with a few friends, and try something out. When it doesn't work, you're disappointed. Look, we've all been there, and it stinks. Know what I say? Stop trying to do what I did and start doing. Reach your goal with Awaken 180. It's a clear course to success without the disappointment. No guesswork, no trial and error, and no medication side effects. I'm proof. I dropped 26 pounds my first go at it, and it was simple. A word never associated with weight loss, except when referring to Awaken 180. Choose the simple, clear course to success with the solution for weight loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line. Hello. We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Florida and Texas A&M Saturday at 3:30. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio in Jacksonville. Interesting game for the Gators and the Aggies. Both teams lost week 1. Both teams had dominating victories over inferior opponents week 2, and now something's going to give week 3. Somebody's going to be 1-2 and looking for answers here in 2024. Let's head to Gainesville. My buddy Graham Hall does a terrific job covering the Florida Gators for 24/7 Sports. Swamp 247 is where you find his work, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Graham, how you doing, man?
Doing great. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure, especially to talk about a Florida victory, even though people are quick to, I think, point out, like you've mentioned, that this came against an overmatched opponent. So how much can you really take away? We're going to know a lot more this weekend on Saturday when the Gators take on the Aggies at 3:30 p.m. in the Swamp.
No use in beating around the bush. Let's dive right in. Your opinion, Graham, on DJ Lagway's performance?
I mean, the throws were incredible. I think that is something that a lot of people maybe are forgetting to point out when they're discussing the overmatched opponent. I mean, he had some absolutely just beautiful passes to a bevy of Florida wide receivers here. I do think that, of course, it is Samford, and I'm not going to leave that out of the conversation whatsoever, but you have to remember this is a freshman making his first start, and we have certainly seen freshman quarterbacks around the nation struggle from a confidence standpoint and struggle to manage the game and have command of the offense and communicate effectively. None of those were issues that DJ Lagway faced, and that's something that is going to carry over moving forward, regardless of what his role is going to be against the Aggies and this full slate of SEC competition that the Gators are going to face moving forward. We're going to have to see what Lagway's role is, but when it comes to, I think, alleviating any concerns that if he has to play extended snaps, whether it's due to injury or you give him a couple of drives because the Graham Mertz-led offense is struggling to find success against these tough defenses throughout the conference, I think that you can rest a little bit easier if you're head coach Billy Napier, knowing that you've seen the guy do it. And I don't think that necessarily facing better athletes down the stretch is going to lead to a drop-off in that confidence. So there's a lot to take away from this performance. I do think that it wasn't just the deep throws, of course. He hit them when they were there, and his confidence was fully on display. I thought the throw to Aiden Mizell, give Samford some credit. The coverage was good there, in my opinion. I know that Mizell got a step, but that's a guy who can hit 23 miles per hour, and the defender was right there. So I think certainly there are maybe some overreactions saying that DJ Lagway is going to be this future star. I do think that we're going to see that play out in due time. But you have to certainly feel better about what you have as a backup quarterback if Graham Mertz were to suffer another injury, which I think is certainly a concern when you look at how Florida's offensive line has fared throughout the first 2 weeks. Lagway gives you the ability to step up in the pocket, be a little bit quicker, get outside the pocket, make some throws on the run, use his athleticism. And most importantly, I think that maybe people are missing that last year, if Graham Mertz were to go down, you didn't really have someone that you felt extremely confident in running the offense, and maybe that would provide some hesitance to some of your play calls, needing to protect Graham Mertz. Now, you have a guy that you feel confident in stepping in, and also have a guy in DJ Lagway where if he's out there, you're not going to need to really necessarily protect him the entire time because you have a proven guy in Graham Mertz right there as well. I think certainly that Florida's quarterback situation is in a much better place than it was a year ago, and you got to give Lagway a ton of credit for being here after just 2 weeks in Gainesville as a guy facing competition on the schedule, of being able to kind of reaffirm and assuage some of those doubts out there.
Graham Hall, 247sports.com, covering the Florida Gators with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. All right, the fan base, it's all they're talking about. Let's dive in. You used the term backup quarterback. I agree. I was asked on a podcast over here last week, Mertz or Lagway, who gives you the better chance to beat A&M? To me, there's no question. It's Graham Mertz. And DJ Lagway is the shiny new toy. Everybody loves the true freshman quarterback. Everybody loves the backup quarterback. But Billy Napier needs to win on Saturday. And to me, Graham, if you want to win on Saturday, the best chance of doing that is with a healthy Graham Mertz. Agree or disagree?
I don't really agree or disagree, and not to kind of play devil's advocate here or argue with you whatsoever, but I do think that the best chance for Florida is to play both quarterbacks. I think that Graham Mertz, how clean of football he played last year, is certainly worth mentioning, and the guy has tremendous leadership ability, command of the offense, great confidence. He is absolutely a vital part of this team, and you can't simply bench him moving forward. You have to have a primary role for him. But I made a note of it during the game and after the game that you cannot bench DJ Lagway. You have to utilize him as well. And Billy Napier knows this. He noted it back in July when he said that Florida's offense is more difficult to prepare for when you have to prepare for the ability of two quarterbacks who have, various diverse skill sets here. I think that is absolutely the key. You have to have a role for Lagway within the offense because a defense has to be guessing who they're going to face on any given series. And I think that that is absolutely the case. Graham Mertz gives you the ability to manage the offense, hit the short yardage throws, throw into the flat well, and run things and manage the clock at a high rate. But when it comes to explosive playability, which we've seen for Florida, especially when they have faced a deficit, struggled late in games, you're going to need guys who can go out there and get you a quick score. And you look back last year, a lot of Florida's drives, when they were successful, they still took up 5-6 minutes of the game clock. If the Gators don't have a lead or they're in a close contest, I think that Lagway gives you a better chance of generating downfield plays and getting a quick strike and being able to just find a way to get back into games. And with Florida's offensive line, if the Gators struggle to continue to protect Graham Mertz moving forward, I do think Lagway gives you the best chance of being able to overcome those issues. You even saw some of those throws, the one I mentioned to Mizell, the one to Tank Hawkins as well, hitting Hayden Hansen over the middle of the field. The pocket was not necessarily clean here. You had a guy who has improved footwork. It's continuing to progress as well. And he was able to step up and evade defenders in the backfield. That is something that, no disrespect to Graham Mertz whatsoever, because I do think he's more athletic than maybe he's given credit for, but that's something that he's not as good at as DJ Lagway. And I do think that Florida, unless the offensive line can improve, and I think that there are legitimate, serious questions about that, you're going to need Lagway to overcome some of those things. It really comes down to how well the offensive line fares in my mind. And kind of go back to what people have talked about with Anthony Richardson, the run game is so important for a Billy Napier-led offense. Historically, he's run the ball 60% of the time. Having Lagway back there can really kind of give you two running backs there that you have to account for, a guy who can take off and run at any moment's notice. I don't know how much they're going to continue to use the Wildcat. I don't think it's going to go away. But having the ability of two runners in the backfield certainly makes Florida's offense potentially more potent.
Final moments, Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247 with us here on 1010XL. Graham, let's go rapid fire. I want to throw a couple of things at you as we begin to wrap up. I made this comment even before Miami. This was in the offseason. To me, Miami was the shiny game, and obviously it blew up in Florida's face. I would argue that from a perception standpoint within the conference, the most important game was Florida and A&M. This is Mike Elko's third game as Aggies head coach. It's his first game on the road. It's his first SEC game as A&M's head coach. Billy Napier is in year 3. Year 3 for Billy, game 3 for Mike Elko at their respective jobs. If A&M comes in on Saturday and beats Florida, to me that's damning for Napier and what he's trying to do here.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. I think that if Florida loses at home to a Texas A&M team with a first-year head coach there at the program, as impressive as that roster is, and Connor Weigman had one of the best performances of any SEC quarterback last week. If you come in and the crowd noise is unable to affect the opposing team in a similar fashion as it was to that Miami season opener, and he loses to that team, I think that the heat for Billy Napier is only going to increase, and I think it's going to expedite what many people believe is that a eventual parting of ways. Not saying that I necessarily think it is 100% going to happen that Sunday if they lose, but I do think that it's going to become closer and closer to being inevitable necessarily here. And the Gators can't lose that game, especially knowing that they're going to go on the road next week to Mississippi State, and having a chance to be 3-1 heading into that first bye week would be critical for a team that needed to regain momentum after that season opening loss.
Graham, within reason. I mean, obviously, if they lose, 6 games in a row, that to me, that's not realistic. I don't think. I hope that's not the case. But within reason, is there a scenario where Billy Napier does not make it through to the Georgia game?
It's possible, absolutely. I mean, we go back to Jim McElwain. That guy got fired at the end of October there. A lot obviously went wrong in that year, but I don't think that necessarily it is impossible whatsoever. I do think that there's a notion that if you're going to part ways with your head coach and you're going to do it, you got to do it early. Absolutely, because there are going to be coaching changes as there are every single year. And if you want to have a chance of getting one of the top options out there, you're going to need to give yourself extended time to be able to contend with how many possible moves there are out there. You don't want to be picking from whatever's less. If you're going to rip the Band-Aid off, you got to do it as quick as possible and begin that healing process. And I think that for Florida, if they know they're going to part ways with Billy Napier, and especially considering what is awaiting them in November, whoever is in charge, I don't know how much of a difference it would make if the Gators lose, 4 or 5 games in a row heading into that Georgia game. You got to do it early in my mind. I know that that's a difficult thing to project here right now, but if you know you're going to do it, you got to do it early in my mind.
Final question. We got about 60 seconds. All right, so you cover the team as closely as anybody. You're around the program all the time. Is the criticism of Billy Napier fair amongst Gator fans?
I think there are some things that absolutely are fair. I think that you look at the offense and where they are right now, maybe the talent on the roster, not as good as you would desire. Absolutely. You look at how many people they've brought into Gainesville to lead this army of support staff. A lot of those criticisms are fair. You look at certainly even the recruiting this year. But I do think that, and this is, I think, an important distinction to make, too many people pile on who Billy Napier is as a person. This is someone who is highly respected inside the program, well regarded, works as hard as anybody in the building. And they seem to admonish his character, his intelligence, because Florida's in a frustrating place right now. You look at the schedule, I think no one would change schedules with the Gators out there in the nation and what the Gators are having to overcome right now, that many people are quick to pile on the head coach when there are a lot of other problems in there. But with all that said, a lot of the criticisms given the expectations of the Florida program are fair, because this is a program that is very proud and is accustomed to winning no less than 8 games on a regular basis. I mean, they haven't had 3 straight losing seasons, and I can't remember how long. And the fact that you could have that when you have a head coach who's been in his 3rd year seems to, I think, generate a lot of criticism, fair and unfair. You got to remember the NIL transfer portal. We're in a new era of college football where a lot of coaches are still struggling to navigate it, and there's a lot outside of a head coach's power that they were able to control a couple of years ago. So I think with that aspect, how involved NIL is in recruiting and adding to your team and retaining players, there should be, I think, less criticism for head coaches, because there are so many extenuating circumstances that can give coaches a pass when it comes to overhauling their roster on a year-to-year basis. But with that said, especially when it comes to the play calling and how Florida's offense looks, when you look at the amount of athleticism and talent that is in the state and surrounding areas, a lot of those questions about where Florida's health of their roster is from a talent standpoint, a lot of those are fair questions and criticisms. And I'm not going to absolutely disagree with a lot of people who question and say that Florida's roster should be better and in a healthier place, despite them having just won 11 games the last 2 years. You know how difficult that is to recruit when you have those circumstances. I still think it's impressive that they were able to add as much talent as they did last year, coming off a 5-7 finish, including getting DJ Lagway and LJ McCray to this program. I think it speaks well of how people want to come and play for Billy Napier. With that said, I do think you can absolutely say fairly that this roster should be better in year 3.
You get Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247. He does a terrific job covering the Florida Gators, and they'll have you covered leading up to kickoff on Saturday between Florida and Texas A&M. Graham, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time, my friend. We'll talk again soon.
Always my pleasure. Great questions. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Looking forward to a great game on Saturday.
Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
And thank you to Graham Hall of 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark, as there's a big one in Gainesville on Saturday, a really big one for head coach Billy Napier, who needs a victory. No question about that after what happened a couple weeks ago against Miami. Mike Elko, the first-year head coach for Texas A&M, and the Aggies roll in 3:30 Saturday at the Swamp. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio as the Gators. Look, a win could do a lot, right? A loss, well, that could also do a lot in the opposite direction. So we'll see what happens come Saturday at the Swamp. We talked a lot about that, certainly in the big game atmosphere. Talked a lot about Florida State having to get up off the canvas as they play Memphis on Saturday in Tallahassee. But spent a lot of time on the Jacksonville Jaguars as now all eyes turn to the Cleveland Browns coming in here for a 1 o'clock kick on Sunday afternoon. Both teams at 0-1 on the year. Both teams really in need of a victory, particularly Jacksonville. The only game at Everbank Stadium in the month of September, knowing you got road games at Buffalo and at Houston to follow this one. This is a big game for the Jaguars. Make no mistake about it, being down in the Jaguar locker room earlier today for a little locker room talk. You got the sense that they know, even though it's only week 2, this is a big one. After letting the one in Miami get away last week, knowing what's coming up on the schedule, knowing you have a home game on Sunday against Cleveland, a reeling Cleveland team who's already got a bunch of injury problems on that roster, this is one the Jaguars need to get on Sunday. There is absolutely no question about that. Well, that'll just about do it. It has been a very, very busy Wednesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247 for joining us tonight. Thank you to Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You get him every day on XL Primetime. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. And, of course, you get him every Sunday alongside the head coach Dave Campo and yours truly for the 5th quarter. Certainly appreciate Leon taking time out for us tonight. My buddy Matt Hayes, national college football writer. Again, you hear him every day on XL Primetime as well, as we talked Florida, Florida State, Georgia, Miami, and more with Matt Hayes. And we had a little Jaguar locker room talk earlier today. Appreciate the fellas down there for joining us on Jaguar Locker Room Talk here on Hacker After Dark. We will be back tomorrow night on a Thursday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the Hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Wednesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Wednesday evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night on a Thursday beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
Get entertaining insight on Sunday's games all day Monday.
They came together